Hi everybody. Today I'm gonna try and just go through how I configure my Windows 2016 server for uh, the CCIE Collaboration V3 lab that I'm setting up. Um, this server kind of in the HQ site holds multiple functions. It's not just the DNS server; it does AD. We're also going to use it as a certificate authority. So it really does kind of play a pivotal role in our lab here. So again, if we look at our topology, our HQ DNS server, there's actually two different AD servers that are DNS servers actually in our topology, and it's kind of the same for both as far as setting them up. But right now I'm just going to talk about how to do the HQ DNS. But there's one in the HQ right here, which we're going to use for all of our internal traffic, and then there's going to be one external, which is kind of the simulated public internet, that sort of stuff. And again, if you follow steps for doing the HQ, the same thing will happen for the external, except for there we're not going to need AD. We'll just need the DNS and the certificate authority from the external side. So what we're going to look at today is putting together our 2016 server. And one of the reasons, well, we needed a 2016 server because of, let's see if I can bring it up. If we look at our equipment list from Cisco, this is the CCIE Collaboration V3 equipment and software list. We'll see that Cisco has now said for Active Directory we need Windows Server 2016. In the previous versions, I believe it was 2012 was used. So now we're needing 2016. So that's what we're going to install. Maybe I should show the screen. But again, this is our CCIE Collaboration V3 equipment and software list. This is off of the Cisco Learning site. And again, if we look, Active Directory is Windows Server 2016. So we're going to look at, so again, today, kind of the steps to do this are install the server in VMware, set a static IP, enable remote desktop, then we got configure AD, configure the DNS, and configure certificate authority. I may break this up into multiple videos because doing all those into one I think is going to take a little long. I think maybe what we'll do is break each of those steps into a separate video on their own. So our first one, let's go ahead and install the server in VMware. So I have a VMware instance. It is VMware 6.5 running on, I've got a C220 M3. So basically, I've got everything set up here. There's a lot of information. I have not done a video yet on how to set up VMware. There's a lot of information out there about setting up VMware, so I figure that's probably pretty easy, and it's usually a little specific to each of your servers. Plus, I've already got a server running which has all my V2 stuff from when I had first started doing my studies, which was when V2 was still active. So our first thing is we're going to create a register of VM. We're going to create a new virtual machine. Next, enter name. I'm prefixing all mine with V3 at the moment because, again, I said I had a V2 lab. So then I'm going to call mine HU DNS. This OS family is going to be a Windows. And we're going to find Windows Server 2016 64-bit. Click next. Choose my data store. I do have two different data stores. This is my main. Click next. I'm going to go with the default recommendations here. 1 vCPU, 4 gigs of memory, 40 gigs of hard drive. My network adapter is going to go on it's going to be my V3 HQ servers. And my CD DVD is eventually going to be the ISO. We're going to put the ISO in there now. This will be my Windows Server 2016 ISO. I've already got uploaded onto the data store. Click next. Then I will click finish. It should deploy should put the template in, and we can start spinning up the server. Our virtual machines. V3 HQ DNS is there. And select that. And we're going to power it on and open up our window. That'll let it start to install. All US settings, installs. I'm not doing a repair, so we're doing an install. And I'm going to do the data center with the desktop experience pack. Set the licenses. It doesn't matter here because I have a blank disk. We should be able to keep going. Oh, sorry. Install Windows only. Wow, I missed that. Trying to do an update. Okay, select my disk. Next. This will allow it to format and install Windows. And I will pause the video here while it goes through the install. It'll take a little bit, and then we'll come back once it's done pushing the install. Okay, it is stopped or finished installing and is going in for a reboot. And it does take a little bit for it to get set up the first time, as it goes through a few different things. Okay, so after it's basically spinning wheel for a little while, it finally comes up. It's going to ask for our administrator password. And we can send a control. Some keys, control alt delete. And it'll set up our user profile. So at this point, our step one is pretty much done. We've installed Windows, the Windows Server 2016 here in our VMware. It's up and running. Everything is finishing coming up, but really now we can move on. So our next step, as we talked about earlier, would be setting up a static IP and enabling remote desktop. This way we can access this remotely from anywhere on our PC without having to go through the VMware terminal to get access. And again, I may, like I said, I think I'm going to create multiple videos on this. So if you're with me, we're gonna cut and go to the next one.